Okay, a lot of people, ask the question, why can I go to a sports show and I look at an antler and I can say, well, that's a reproduction? Well, the very simple and straightforward answer is there are different levels of talent and different levels of what people find acceptable and unacceptable in this industry. Doing a good quality reproduction means to me, when you put it on the wall, if you were not to say anything to anybody, they would not pick it out. They wouldn't walk in the room and say, hey, I look at that and something's not right about that antler. Something stands out as being, fake or gives it away that, something's not quite right. Now, here's an example of something we're working on. Printing antlers 3D and painting them to look like the originals has a greater degree of artistic requirement to do that. You do what is called texture painting. You recreate the surface of the antler that is so minute that the human eye cannot pick it up just by looking at it. There's these little grains and little markings on antlers that a 3D scan will not capture. Now, if you paint it properly, you can capture that. You can recreate that in your paint job. So here's an example of a 3D printed antler, and here's the antler that we scanned and printed it. And so I'm going to hold them up side by side, and you can see how well you can capture basically the same look and feel and texture that the original antler has along with the printed antler. I'll move that over to the outside here, take a peek at that. So this is a comparison piece that we take with us to sports shows and so forth and so on, so clients can see that it gets very, very close. Now, is it 100% absolutely perfect to where, you could say you basically made a carbon copy? No, but 99.9% of the people on this planet be very happy with something of this level. It looks very, very real. It feels real. We put work into these to make them rigid. We use special resins to make them weigh what the originals weighed. Not perfectly. We're within ounces one side or the other on the scale, but it gets, when you lift them up, they're pretty similar. You don't lift one up and go, oh man, this thing weighs a third of the weight of what the original weighed. They're very, very close. When it comes to 3D printing antlers, right now the greatest challenge, there's a lot of different things that we're finding from our traditional ways of molding with silicone and now switching over to 3D printing. There's a whole host of new challenges we've come across, but the biggest one is the painting. They do paint out very, very nicely. However, it takes us more time to do it than it used to. We could rely on that intricate detail, much like putting stain on a piece of wood and there's grain in the wood. And as you wipe the stain off, that grain and everything kind of comes through and gives you that depth and the texture that you're after. And that happens too with the 3D antlers, but not nearly like it used to when we did a cast with silicone that captured the most micron detail that was in the antler. So we're excited where all this is going. Our big goal was, or focus in going to 3D printing was, can we still deliver the same quality we've been known for?